Hazrat Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu said that he would teach some immigrants who included Hazrat Abdul Rahman bin Auf as well. On the occasion of the last pilgrimage of Hazrat Umar radiyallahu anhu, I was in Hazrat Abdul Rahman's house, whereas he had gone to Hazrat Umar radiyallahu anhu. When Hazrat Abdul Rahman came back to me, he said, "Would that you had seen the man who came to the chief of the believers today and said, 'O the chief of the believers, what is your opinion about so and so?' He says, 'If Hazrat Umar radiyallahu anhu passes away, I will swear an oath of allegiance to so and so, for by Allah Jalla Jalaluhu.' The pledge of allegiance to Hazrat Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu was an abrupt decision which later got established. Hazrat Umar radiyallahu anhu whereupon got exasperated and said, 'If Allah Jalla Jalaluhu willed, I will get up for a sermon in the evening and alarm the people of such men who went to usurp the Muslims' affairs.' Hazrat Abdul Rahman states that he said, 'O the believers' chief, don't do that, for it is Hajj season which gathers the rebel as well as the dunes people. So when you get up, they will flock around you. So I am scared that when you will get up and say something, these people will catch some of your statements, will neither remember your words nor interpret it correctly. You should therefore defer it until you reach Medina Munawwara, for Medina is the place of immigration and the Prophet's traditions where you will come across the genius and noble people. So tell there complacently what you want. There the learned people will retain your sayings and will not misconstrue them.' Hazrat Umar whereupon replied, 'By Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, Allah willing, on reaching Medina Munawwara, when I will get up to deliver a sermon, I will first of all discuss this matter.' Hazrat Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu states, 'We reached Medina Munawwara during the last days of Zulhajj on Wednesday. When it was Friday, no sooner did the sun decline than was hurried towards the mosque and found Sayyid bin Zaid bin Amr bin Nofel sitting beside the pulpit. So I too sat by him with my knees touching his. After a while, Hazrat Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu anhu emerged on that. I said to Hazrat Sayyid bin Zaid bin Amr bin Nufal, 'Today he will surely tell such a thing as he has never expressed since he was appointed a caliph.' He, Hazrat Sayyid, did not approve my statement, saying, 'I don't think he will say such a thing which he has never told before.' Hazrat Umar radiyallahu anhu mounted the pulpit, and when the proclaimer of the prayer call got silent, he got up after glorifying and extolling Allah Jalla Jalaluhu as he Jalla Jalaluhu deserves. He said, 'To proceed, I am going to tell you a thing which has been preordained for me to say. I don't know, perhaps it may be my last address. My death is right before me. Whoso comprehends it and remembers it must convey it to others as far as his mount takes him. Whoso is afraid that he has not discerned it, it is unlawful for him to spread fallacy about me. Undoubtedly, Allah Jalla Jalaluhu sent Hazrat Muhammad S.A.W. with the truth and revealed the book to him, and what has been revealed included the words regarding the stoning to death, which we read, comprehended, and memorized. So Allah's Apostle ﷺ implemented the prescribed punishment of stoning, and so did we after him. I am scared that people will overcome by a time when someone will say, 'By Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, we don't find the verse of stoning in Allah's book.' So they will go astray, forsaking the obligation revealed by Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. The punishment of stoning to death is present in Allah's book, which is to be inflicted on any married adulterer, male or female, provided the evidence has got established, or there is conception of confession. Then whatever we would recite of Allah's book, we would read therein. It is infidelity to associate oneself to any other ancestry, leaving one's own, or it is infidelity on your part to turn the face away from the real forefathers, adopting some other ancestry. Hearken, Allah's Apostle ﷺ then said, 'Don't extol me exaggeratedly as Hazrat Isa, Hazrat Mary's son, was exaggeratedly praised. Rather call me Allah's bondsman and his apostle. This news has reached me that a speaker amongst you says, by Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, if Umar dies, I will swear an oath of allegiance to so and so. Let the person not deceive you by declaring that the oath of allegiance to Hazrat Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu was an abrupt decision which later got established. Here can no doubt it was really like that, but Allah Jalla Jalaluhu saved the people from the evil of that abrupt oath of allegiance, and none amongst you can scale the height of excellence of Hazrat Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu. Whoso gives the pledge of allegiance to anyone without consulting the other Muslims, neither he nor should the person to whom the pledge of allegiance was given be obeyed, because it is feared lest they both should be killed. Let us state that when Allah Jalla Jalaluhu caused His Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to meet him, the Ansar, the helpers, opposed us and they assembled in Saqifa Bani Saida. Hazrat Ali and Hazrat Zubair radiyallahu anhu and their supporters opposed us as well, whereas the immigrants flocked to Hazrat Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu. I thereupon said, let's go to our Ansari brothers. So we set off in order to meet him. When we reached near them, two noblemen amongst them came across us, who notified us of their unanimous decision. Then they both said, O the group of the immigrants, where are you going? We replied, we are going to our Ansari brothers. They whereupon said, you should not do so and go to them, rather you should yourselves decide your matter. I thereupon said, by Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, we will go to them. So we proceeded until we reached them at Saqifa, Bani Saida, to see a man sitting amidst them, wrapped up in a sheet. I asked who he was. The people replied, he is Hazrat Sa'ad bin Ubadah radiyallahu anhu. I asked, what has happened to him? They replied, he is suffering from fever long before we sat here. One of their speakers testified, praised Allah Jalla Jalaluhu as he deserves, and then said, to proceed, we are Allah's helpers and the majority of the Muslim army, and of the group of the immigrants, you are extremely less in number, and some of you have come to join us, abandoning their people. They want to uproot us and snatch the caliphate from us. When he became silent, I intended to speak, and I had conceived a good speech which I wished to deliver in presence of Hazrat Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu, in order to dissipate his anger which the speech might have aroused. When I intended to speak, Hazrat Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu said, wait. So I disliked to offend him. Then Hazrat Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu commenced his address, and he was more forbearing and soberer than I was, and whatever I had reflected, he extempore expressed that all without missing anything, rather better than that. He then observed silence. He then said, you really deserve the excellences which you have expressed, but caliphate cannot be imagined for anyone other than the Quraysh. For the Quraysh excels all other Arabs regarding pedigree and family. I am pleased with either of these two, so give a pledge of allegiance to either of them you please. He then held my and Hazrat Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah's hand, who was sitting there amidst us. I disliked nothing but this proposal in his speech. By Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, I like it more to be dissipated, being innocent of any sin, than to become the chief of a people, including Hazrat Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu. O Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, it is my view right now, unless myself misguides me at the time of my death, and I think of something else than it. Thereafter, one of the helpers said, I am the stick with which the camels rub off the itching, extremely seasoned person, and the supporting hedge around the trees, supporter of the people. O the group of the Quraysh, there should be one chief from us and one chief from you. Thereupon there occurred much hue and cry, and the voices grew so much louder as I feared a conflict. I therefore said, O Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu, hold your hand out. So he extended his hand, and I swore an oath of allegiance to him. Then the emigrants gave him the pledge of allegiance. Thereafter the helpers as well gave him the pledge of allegiance. Thus we got supremacy over Hazrat Saad bin Ubadah radiyallahu anhu. One of them said, "You have killed Hazrat Saad bin Ubadah radiyallahu anhu by defeating him." I thereupon replied, "Allah Jalla Jalaluhu has killed Hazrat Saad bin Ubadah radiyallahu anhu." Hazrat Umar radiyallahu anhu then said, "By Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, at that time there was nothing more important to us than to swear an oath of allegiance to Hazrat Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu, for we were scared that if we left the people and none was given the pledge of allegiance, they might swear an oath of allegiance to someone amongst them after us. In that case, either we would have to obey them against our will, or would have opposed them, kindling a choice. So, whoso swears an oath of allegiance to a man without consulting the other Muslims, you must neither obey him nor the person to whom the pledge of allegiance is given, because it is feared lest they both should be killed." Sahih Bukhari, Hadith number 6830.